1984 is the most important novel written by George Orwell. It was written in 1948 and published in 1949. In addition to a criticism against the Soviet regime, the novel deals with the theme of the power that controls and manipulates its subjects, the destruction of the diversity of thought in order to achieve uniformity, considered the only true form of peace. Eric Arthur Blair, known by his pen name George Orwell, was born in India in 1903. He was an English novelist, journalist and critic. He moves to England in 1907, and in 1917 he is admitted to the Eton College, where one of his teachers was Aldous Huxley, whose works inspired Orwell for his novel 1984. In 1936, Orwell marries Eileen O'Shaughnessy, and in the same year, in Spain, the Civil War begins, and Orwell decides to take part in the war with the Party of Marxist Unification. In this period, he is victim of Stalinist persecutions, and for this reason he begins to feel the need to fight every form of totalitarianism. In 1949, he marries his second wife, Sonia Mary Brownell, who will be responsible for the review of his most famous novel 1984. In 1950, Orwell dies at the age of 46 years old. Orwell is best known for his contribution to dystopian literature, often used in his fight against the totalitarianism. The word dystopia, the opposite of utopia, refers to an imaginary world where everything goes wrong, and which is formed by a society whose tendencies are carried to apocalyptic extremes. 1984 is one of the main novels of this branch of literature. The novel is set in Oceania and is the year 1984. The world is divided into three superstates: Oceania, Eastasia, and Eurasia. In Oceania, the society is controlled by a regime based on the principles of the English socialism, and it is dominated by a party, called the Party. In every corner of the city there are posters of the leader of the party, Big Brother, accompanied by captations like "Big Brother is watching you," or by slogans like "War is peace," "Freedom is slavery," "Ignorance is strength." The telescreen controls the private and public lives of the population. There is no individual privacy. The party is controlled by the Mini-Louvre, that is the Ministry of Love. It deals with law and order, and it is equipped with a special police called Thought Police. The protagonist of the novel is Winston Smith, who works for the Ministry of Truth. His job is to rewrite past newspaper articles so that the historical record always supports the party line. He is a diligent worker, but secretly he hates the party. In fact, on April 4, 1984, he begins retaining a journal criticizing the party and its enigmatic leader, Big Brother. Two people influence Winston's life: Julia, of whom he is in love, and O'Brien. Winston believes O'Brien is an agent of the Brotherhood, a secret organization meant to destroy the party. But instead, O'Brien is a member of the Thought Police. So Winston and Julia are captured and delivered to the Ministry of Love for interrogation. During the imprisonment, Winston is tortured. There are three stages in his reintegration: learning, understanding, and acceptance. In the first stage, Winston doesn't betray Julia, even if the pain is strong. In the second stage, the pain is unbearable, but he resists, and he doesn't betray Julia. In the third stage, O'Brien sends Winston to room 101, the most feared room in the Ministry of Love, where resides each prisoner's worst fear. At the end, Winston betrays Julia. Winston feels that all is well now, and his love for Big Brother is returned. Sonia Mary Brownell, the widow of Orwell and the owner of the copyright, agreed before dying to the creation of the movie. 1984 is a 1984 British film directed by Michael Redford. It is based with total fidelity on George Orwell's novel. It has been interpreted by John Hurt, Richard Burton, and Susanna Hamilton. In comparison with the book, in the film there are some different elements. For example, in the movie, the salute is the crossing of the forearms to make an X. In the book, Ingsock's salute is a clenched fist. In the novel, the note that Julia gives to Winston contains only the phrase "I love you." In the film, the note says also the place where they will meet. In the book, when Winston and Julia meet in the clearing, she asks him what he thought of her before her note, and he answers that his first impression was not so good. In the movie, there is not this part of dialogue. In the book, it isn't explained why Winston is afraid of mice. It is only mentioned during a secret date with Julia. In the film, his fear of mice is connected to the death of his mother, who Winston found dead while some horrible mice were eating her body. In the book, Winston and Julia go together to visit O'Brien. They are looking for information about joining the Brotherhood. In the movie, Winston goes alone, and O'Brien does not explicitly reveal his affiliation with the Brotherhood. In the movie, O'Brien gives the Book of the Brotherhood, the theory and practice of oligarchical collectivism by Goldstein, directly to Winston. In the novel, the book is given to Winston some days after the meeting with O'Brien. During Winston's torture, O'Brien shows him his fingers and asks, "If the party says that 2 plus 2 is 5 and not 4, how many fingers are these?" In the book, Winston answers 4, and O'Brien increases the tortures. In the movie, Winston answers 5, but O'Brien continues the punishment. At the end of the film, Winston and Julia meet in a bar and talk about the political situation. In the book, they meet in a park and talk about how they have betrayed each other.